I have never believed in ghosts. All the stories told on rainy nights, the rumors in the small neighborhood, or the yellowed diary entries found in old drawers, to me, were just ghost stories made up to scare children. But that night, when the clock on the table struck midnight, my worldview collapsed in an instant. Asterisk, the knocking echoed in the quiet house, making my whole body freeze. 3 times, slow, steady, like a hammer hitting the pent-up fear. I sat motionless, listening to each sound echoing from the main door. Every sense seemed to be stifled, each heavy breath stagnating in my chest. The darkness in the living room seemed to thicken, covering everything. I turned my head to look up at the attic. The door was closed silently, but the feeling of eyes still following me from the darkness above made my skin cold. I took a deep breath, trying to gather up the last bit of courage I had left. Last time, I didn't open the door, but I still found the warning envelope right on the doorstep. If I continued to be silent, would the thing outside leave or find another way to get in? I stood up quietly, walking heavily towards the main door. The knocking rang out again, this time faster, stronger, as if urging. I reached for the doorknob, but then remembered the letter in the box. Don't look into his eyes. I stopped, my hand trembling as I pulled it back. My heart was torn between 2 choices. Open the door to face the fear, or hide and continue to live in the obsession. I pressed my ear to the door. Outside was an eerie silence. No more knocking, only the sound of the wind blowing through the hallway. I whispered softly, "Michael, is that you?" There was a moment of silence. Then, from the other side came a choked voice. "Open the door, I'm cold." Tears welled up in my eyes, my throat tightened. It was Michael's voice, gentle and familiar as many years ago. But deep down, I knew something was wrong. I trembled slightly, my mind reeling with memories of my brother. I wanted to believe that he was still there, that there was a miracle that would give me the chance to see him again. But the warning in the letter was like an iron hook stuck in my mind, pulling me back to reality. I bit my lip, then decided to open the door slightly, just enough to see through the crack. The hallway outside was dark. Only the distant streetlights cast a faint light. I held my breath, my eyes fixed on the darkness. And then, a skinny hand slowly reached through the crack of the door, the skin pale, the long nails scratching the wood. I was startled and about to slam the door shut, but a voice rang out right next to my ear. "Brother, don't be afraid." "It's me." I froze. My hand no longer had any strength. In a split second, I saw a face appear through the crack of the door. The hair was drooping, the lips pale, but the eyes were deep black, without light, without life. I choked, my mind blank. I immediately remembered the warning. Don't look into his eyes. Quickly, I turned my head away, trying not to let his gaze touch me. The thing outside the door began to chuckle, a twisted laugh that echoed in my bones. "Are you afraid of me? You called me back. You opened the first letter. That means you want to see me again." I trembled, gathering all my strength to push the door open, slamming it shut and locking it tightly. The sound of scratching echoed outside. The sharp sound of claws scraping against the wood, then suddenly stopped. The house fell into silence again. I retreated, sat down on the floor, cold sweat pouring down like a shower. But that silence did not bring any safety. I clearly felt that everything was not over. Even with the door locked, I knew that the thing was still around, waiting. I looked up at the wall clock. The hour hand pointed to exactly 3:30 in the morning. Time passed suffocatingly slowly. I forced myself to stand up, put the mailbox on the table, my eyes unconsciously glued to the remaining envelopes. There was something compelling, a strange attraction that forced me to open it. I pulled out a leaf, my heart pounding. Inside, there was only one sentence. "If you open the third leaf, I will enter the house." I was stunned, my hands shaking so much that the piece of paper fell to the floor. It turned out that everything that had happened up until now was only the beginning. At that moment, footsteps echoed from the stairs leading to the attic. Slow, heavy, each sound seemed to step on my soul. I turned my head sharply, my eyes wide with panic. I knew, whether I wanted it or not, that thing was in the house with me. End of part 5. Watch the next episode to see how David will face the footsteps that are gradually coming down from the attic.